Picture your kitchen counter right now. There's a glass of water sitting there, maybe next to your coffee maker, maybe beside your blood pressure medication. Plain water, ordinary, safe. The thing your doctor, your spouse, your entire life has told you to drink more of. That glass of water is doing almost nothing for you right now. Not because water is wrong, because plain water, after the age of 60, is missing something your blood vessels are starving for. And what is happening inside those vessels right now, slowly and silently, without a single warning sign, is the very thing that fills my dialysis unit 3 mornings a week. I'll call him Walter. Walter Jackson, 71 years old, retired postal worker from Memphis, Tennessee, 33 years walking mail routes, the kind of man who knew every family on his route by name. His daughter called me on a Wednesday morning in February, voice shaking. "Doctor, his legs won't work. He woke up and they just won't work." Walter had been noticing things for 3 years. The heaviness in his legs after lunch, the cold that wouldn't leave his feet no matter how thick his socks were, the way he had to stop halfway up his own driveway to catch his breath. He thought it was the weather. He thought it was his weight. He thought it was just getting older. His kidneys were functioning at 31% of normal. 3 years of silent circulatory damage had been quietly starving those kidneys of the blood they needed to survive. And by the time Walter sat down on his kitchen floor that February morning and couldn't stand back up, the window for easy intervention had already closed. My name is Dr. Wilson Tang. I am a board-certified nephrologist. I have spent 25 years at a major teaching hospital, in the emergency room at 3 in the morning, in the dialysis unit, watching people lose their independence, in the outpatient clinic, reviewing lab results that should have been caught 2 years earlier. I am not a health influencer. I am a kidney specialist who has watched this exact, preventable pattern repeat itself in hundreds of patients over a quarter century. And I'm tired of it. Now, folks, before we go any further, everything I share today comes from 25 years of clinical practice and published research. But every person is different. Your kidney function, your cardiovascular history, your medications, they all matter. Please talk to your doctor about what is right for you. What I am sharing today is for education. It is for starting a conversation that should have happened years ago. Here is what I need you to understand before we get to the 5 water additions. And I promise you, what I reveal as number 1 today is going to permanently change the way you think about your morning routine. Your kidneys receive 20% of everything your heart pumps. Every single heartbeat. 20% of your total blood supply goes directly to those 2 fist-sized organs in your lower back, every minute of every day. And when your blood vessels, the pipelines carrying that blood, become stiff, narrowed, and rigid from decades of age and wear, the kidneys are the first organ to suffer. Not the last, the first. I know what some of you are thinking right now, friends. My last checkup was fine. My doctor said my numbers looked good. Here's what I need you to hear clearly. Your kidneys can lose 40, 50, 60% of their function silently, without pain, without a single noticeable symptom, before a standard blood panel catches it. By the time your creatinine shows up elevated on a lab result, the damage has already been building for years. Today, I am going to show you 5 specific additions to your water, ranked from the least powerful to the most powerful, that published clinical research shows can begin restoring vascular flexibility, improving blood flow to the kidneys, and protecting you from the silent shutdown that puts people like Walter in my clinic every week. And the number 3 addition on this list is the one that stopped me cold when I first reviewed the research, because it was the last ingredient I would have expected. Before we begin, folks, hit that like button right now. Not for this channel, as your very first commitment to yourself that you are going to take what I share today and actually do something with it. Not next week. Tonight. Go ahead and hit it. Now. Number 5. And then I need to tell you about Margaret, because Margaret's story is the reason this video exists. Number 5. Cucumber and fresh mint water infusion. I see the reaction, friends. That's a spa drink. Stay with me. Because the science behind this combination, specifically for blood vessel health in people over 60, is not spa science. It is published cardiovascular research. Cucumbers contain a compound called silica. Silica plays a direct role in maintaining the structural integrity of your blood vessel walls. Here is the analogy I use with my patients. Think about a brand new garden hose. Flexible, smooth, elastic, bends without cracking. Blood flows through it effortlessly. Now picture that same hose left outside in the Texas sun for 20 years. Brittle, cracked, stiff at every bend. You force water through it under pressure, and it strains at every joint. That is your blood vessel walls after 60. The connective tissue keeping them elastic, allowing them to flex and expand with every heartbeat, begins to thin and stiffen. And silica is one of the key structural components your body uses to rebuild and maintain that elasticity. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition, Health, and Aging found that participants who increased their dietary silica intake showed a 12% improvement in arterial flexibility over 12 weeks. 12% in 12 weeks, from something you slice and drop into a pitcher of water. Now, the mint in this combination is not decoration, folks. Mint contains a natural compound that acts as a vasodilator. It signals your blood vessels to relax and widen. When your vessels are wider, blood passes through with less resistance, less strain on your heart, more oxygen delivered to your kidneys, your brain, your legs. A study in the journal Phytomedicine found this compound reduced vascular resistance by roughly 15% in older adults within just 2 weeks of consistent use. 15% better blood flow in 2 weeks from mint leaves in a pitcher. To prepare it tonight, take half a medium cucumber and slice it thin. Grab 10 to 12 fresh mint leaves and gently crush them between your fingers to release the oils. Drop everything into a pitcher of filtered water and let it sit in the refrigerator for at least 30 minutes. Overnight gives you the strongest concentration. Drink at least 3 full glasses throughout the day. Use organic cucumbers when possible because the skin contains most of the silica and you do not want pesticide residue in your infusion. Now, before I tell you about number 4, I need to tell you about Margaret. Because without Margaret, I would have dismissed half of what I am sharing with you today as too simple to matter. I'll call her Margaret Chen. 67 years old, retired school teacher from Columbus, Ohio. 32 years in the classroom, the kind of woman who packed lunches for her grandchildren, organized the church bake sale every December, and walked 2 miles every single morning before breakfast. She believed, genuinely, completely believed, that she was healthy. She came to my office because her ankles were swollen. Not dramatically, just puffy by evening. Her shoes were leaving marks on her skin that took hours to fade. She had been attributing it to the summer heat, to standing too long at the farmer's market, to her age. I ordered a GFR, a kidney function measurement. Margaret's kidneys were functioning at 58% of normal, nearly half her kidney function. Gone. Without a single symptom she had recognized as a warning. "Doctor," she said, sitting in my exam room with her hands folded in her lap, "I did everything right. How did this happen?" Folks, I want you to sit with that question, because Margaret did do everything right, by the information she had. She was walking. She was watching her diet. She was taking her medication faithfully. But nobody had ever told her that the circulation feeding her kidneys had been quietly declining for years. Nobody had told her that the heaviness in her legs on winter mornings was her blood vessels losing their elasticity. Nobody had told her what to add to her water. Do your ankles swell by the end of the day? Do your legs feel heavy in the afternoon in a way they didn't 5 years ago? Do your feet stay cold even when the house is warm? Type yes in the comments right now if any of that describes you. I want to know, because every yes I see is a person I can still reach in time. Number 4, fresh lemon and raw ginger water. This combination targets something that most Americans over 60 have already lost significant amounts of, without ever being told they were losing it. That something is nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is the master switch for your blood vessels, friends. It is the chemical signal that tells your arteries and veins, relax, open up, let the blood through. Nitric oxide keeps your vessels supple, flexible, and responsive to what your body needs. And after the age of 60, your body produces dramatically less of it. The cells lining your blood vessel walls progressively lose their ability to generate this critical molecule. When nitric oxide production falls, vessels tighten, blood pressure rises, circulation slows, and the organs depending on that circulation, starting with the kidneys, begin to quietly pay the price. Lemon is one of the richest natural sources of vitamin C, and vitamin C is directly required for the pathway that produces nitric oxide in the cells lining your blood vessels. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that adults with higher vitamin C intake had 23% higher nitric oxide availability than those with low intake. 23%. That difference alone can mean the gap between legs that carry you easily through your day and legs that feel like they are wading through wet concrete by 2 in the afternoon. Now, the raw ginger in this combination does something entirely different. Ginger contains active compounds that prevent your blood platelets from clumping together. Platelets are the tiny cell fragments in your blood that seal wounds. Essential. But when they become overactive, as they often do in older adults, they start sticking together inside healthy vessels, slowing flow, raising resistance, and increasing the risk of dangerous blockages. A clinical trial published in Thrombosis Research showed that participants who consumed the equivalent of 2 grams of raw ginger daily experienced a 19% reduction in platelet clumping after just 8 weeks. Ginger makes your blood flow more smoothly. Lemon tells your blood vessels to open wider. Together, they work on both sides of the same problem simultaneously. To prepare it, squeeze 1 full fresh lemon into a large glass of water. Peel a 1-inch piece of raw ginger root, slice it thin, and drop it in. Let the ginger sit in the water for at least 15 minutes before drinking. Drink this first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, and again in the afternoon. The combination is most powerful when your digestive system is not competing with food. Now I want to stop and say something directly to the folks watching this who are thinking, my spouse has had heavy legs for years. My father keeps complaining about cold feet. My mother mentioned her ankles are swollen. Send this video to them, right now. Text it to your family group chat before their next breakfast. This information costs nothing, and sharing it takes 10 seconds. That one text message could be the reason someone gets a blood test that changes everything. Now, number 3. The one I almost passed over. The one that made the biggest difference in my patients, and the one the research on is so strong it still surprises me every time I review it. But first, I need to tell you about Robert. I'll call him Robert Williams. 72 years old, retired firefighter from Dallas, Texas. 28 years in the department. The kind of man who walked into burning buildings without hesitating. His wife had to threaten to bring him to my office herself before he agreed to come. He had been having chest heaviness during exertion, shortness of breath climbing 1 flight of stairs. He had been dismissing both of those things for 2 years. "I'm 72, he told me. "What do you expect?" His GFR was at 38%. His blood vessels showed severe stiffness on vascular ultrasound. His circulation to his lower extremities had declined dramatically. He had what I described to my patients as the slow shutdown. The body quietly redirecting blood away from the legs, away from the extremities, eventually away from the kidneys themselves, in order to protect the heart. It is a survival mechanism, and by the time the body is doing it, the kidneys are already in crisis. "Has anyone talked to you about your circulation?" I asked him. "Everyone told me my numbers were fine," he said. Folks, I hear this every week. Standard cholesterol panels can appear acceptable while vascular function is deteriorating. Standard blood pressure readings can look borderline normal while microcirculation, the flow through your tiniest capillaries, the ones feeding your kidneys at the cellular level, is collapsing. Robert had been told he was fine, because no one was measuring the right things at the right time. Now, I want to be honest with you about something. Do you know what dialysis costs in this country? $90,000 a year. 3 sessions every single week. That is your retirement savings. That is your grandchildren's college fund. That is your independence. The ability to drive yourself somewhere, to decide when you wake up and eat and sleep. Gone. 3 times a week, you sit in a chair for 4 hours while a machine does the work your kidneys can no longer do. Medicare covers a portion. The copays, the transportation 3 times a week, the medications, the lost time, they add up to a financial and personal devastation that no family fully recovers from. Robert looked at me across that exam room, a man who had run into fires for a living, and he said very quietly, "Tell me what to do, Doc." And what I told him first was number 3 on this list. Number 3, beetroot juice diluted in water. I know, I nearly dismissed it too. It looked too ordinary, too much like something you would find at a farmer's market, try once and forget about. I was wrong. The research on beetroot juice and vascular function is among the most compelling data I have reviewed in 25 years of nephrology practice. Beets are the single richest natural source of dietary nitrates. Your body converts those nitrates into nitric oxide through a pathway that begins in your mouth and continues in your stomach. But here is what separates beetroot from every other nitric oxide source, friends. The nitrate concentration is so extraordinarily high that the effect is not gradual. It is measurable within hours of drinking it. A study published in the journal Hypertension, one of the most respected cardiovascular research journals in the world, found that participants who drank roughly 250 milliliters of beetroot juice experienced a significant drop in blood pressure and a 20% increase in blood flow to their muscles within just 3 hours. Not 3 months, 3 hours. A second study from the University of Exeter found that older adults who consumed beetroot juice daily for 2 weeks showed a 16% improvement in exercise endurance, directly because their muscles were receiving more oxygen through improved blood flow. For my kidney patients specifically, improved blood flow means more blood reaching the kidneys, more filtration, less strain, a measurably slower rate of decline. Here is how to prepare it. Take about 100 milliliters of pure beetroot juice, no added sugars, and mix it into a large glass of water, roughly 300 milliliters total. Drink it in the morning, ideally about 2 hours before any physical activity. If you prefer to make it from scratch at home, roast or boil 1 medium beet, blend it with water, and strain it. The key is daily consistency. You are not looking for one spike of nitric oxide. You are looking for sustained, elevated levels throughout the entire day. One thing I want to flag, folks. Beetroot juice will likely turn your urine or stool a reddish color. Do not be alarmed. This is completely harmless, a natural pigment called betanin passing through your system. It is actually a sign that the active compounds are being processed correctly. Robert called me the morning after his first glass, genuinely frightened. I want to save you that phone call. Robert stayed consistent with all 5 of these additions. He came back at 3 months. His GFR had stabilized. Not fully recovered, years of circulatory neglect do not vanish in 90 days, but it had stopped declining. The slide had arrested. His wife met me in the hallway afterward. She grabbed my hand. "He still drives himself here," she said. "I just need him to keep driving himself here." That is the goal, friends. Not miracles, stability, independence, staying out of that chair. And 3 months of the right daily water habits had given Robert something that 2 years of medication alone had not managed to deliver. Now, some of you right now are thinking, "I already drink lemon water. I take supplements. I am probably covered." I need you to stop. Stay right here. Because what I am about to tell you about number 2 targets a completely separate mechanism that no standard supplement addresses. And if you close this video feeling safe right now without hearing it, you will have missed the most important half. Number 2. Cayenne pepper warm water tonic. I see the reaction, folks. I see it every time I mention this in my office, too. Hot pepper and water? I don't think so, Dr. Tang. Hear me out. Because the research behind this specific preparation, specifically for circulation in the legs, feet, and hands of people over 60, is among the most compelling data I have come across. Cayenne pepper contains a compound called capsaicin. Capsaicin is what creates the burning sensation when you eat spicy food. But what most people do not know is that when capsaicin enters your bloodstream through warm water, it is one of the most potent natural vasodilators ever studied. It triggers your blood vessels to rapidly expand, not just the large arteries, friends, the small ones. The microscopic capillaries that deliver oxygen and nutrients directly to your tissue at the cellular level. The ones feeding the nephrons inside your kidneys. A clinical study published in the journal Clinical Nutrition found that participants who consumed capsaicin daily for 4 weeks experienced a 26% improvement in peripheral blood flow, meaning blood was reaching the extremities far more effectively. A second study published in the British Journal of Clinical Pharmacology found that capsaicin increased microcirculation by up to 31% in older adults. 31% improvement in the flow through your tiniest vessels, friends? This is what determines whether your toes stay warm, whether small wounds on your feet heal quickly, whether your kidneys receive adequate blood supply at the cellular level where actual filtration happens. To prepare it, take a large mug of warm water, not boiling, comfortably warm to the touch. Add just 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper powder and stir until fully dissolved. This starting dose produces only a gentle warmth in your throat. Over the course of 2 weeks, you can gradually increase toward 1/4 teaspoon as your body adjusts. Drink this once daily, about 30 minutes before breakfast. The warm water helps capsaicin absorb more quickly through your stomach lining. If the taste is too sharp at first, a small squeeze of lemon softens it without reducing the effectiveness. One important note, folks. If you are on blood-thinning medications, please speak with your doctor before starting this. Capsaicin can enhance the effects of those medications. This is a conversation to have, not a reason to avoid it entirely. Simply a reason to have it with your physician first. Now, I want to stop right here and do something honest. We have covered 4 powerful additions, and I can feel some of you thinking, okay, I'll try 1 or 2 of these and see how it goes. That is a start. That is genuinely a real start. But number 1, the one sitting at the top of this entire list, is the addition whose research results stunned the scientists who conducted the study. A 44% result in 6 weeks from something that costs almost nothing and takes 8 hours to prepare while you sleep. Before I reveal it, I want to tell you about Dorothy, because Dorothy is the real reason this video exists. I'll call her Dorothy Garcia, 69 years old, retired physical therapist from San Antonio, Texas. She came to me 3 years ago with a specific request. She sat down in my exam chair, folded her hands in her lap, looked at me directly and said, "My husband has been on dialysis for 4 years. I have watched what it does to a man. I have watched what it does to a marriage and a family and a retirement. And I need you to tell me everything I can do, everything, to make sure that never happens to me." I spent 45 minutes with Dorothy that day. I told her about circulation and kidney dependence on vascular health. I told her about every single addition I am sharing with you today, including number 1. I told her, be consistent. Every single day, without exception. Dorothy came back at 6 months. Her GFR had improved by 11%. Not just stabilized, improved. Her blood pressure was down. The leg heaviness she had described on her first visit as a constant companion since her mid-60s was significantly reduced. She walked into my office and said, "Dr. Tang, I don't know if it is the water habits or all the other changes together, but I feel 20 years younger. My husband looked at me last week and said, 'You're moving like yourself again.' Moving like yourself again. Doing the things you love without your body saying no. Being at every graduation, every wedding, every birthday that matters. That is the goal, friends. That is always the goal. And now, number 1. Number 1. Hibiscus cold brew water. Let me tell you why this earned the top position on this list, and why that 44% number is the single most remarkable finding I have come across in 25 years of reviewing cardiovascular research. Hibiscus flowers, specifically the dried petals of the Hibiscus sabdorifa plant, contain an extraordinarily high concentration of anthocyanins and polyphenols. These compounds work directly on the cells lining your arteries, and they work through two simultaneous mechanisms that no other natural ingredient I have reviewed achieves together. First, they increase the availability of nitric oxide in your endothelial cells, meaning more of the nitric oxide your body produces actually reaches the vessel wall and triggers relaxation. Second, and this is the part that matters most, folks, they reduce oxidative damage to those same cells. They clean up the accumulated injury that has been preventing your vessels from responding normally for years. Here is the analogy I use with patients. Your blood vessels have been trying to relax and open up. The signal has been sent, but years of oxidative damage to the cells receiving that signal have been garbling the message. Hibiscus compounds do two things simultaneously. They amplify the signal and they repair the receiver. A landmark clinical trial published in the Journal of Human Hypertension studied adults with an average age of 65. Those who consumed hibiscus water daily for 6 weeks experienced a 44% improvement in flow-mediated dilation. That is the gold standard measurement of how well blood vessels expand and contract. 44%. The researchers noted that this result rivals the effects of certain prescription medications designed specifically for vascular health. I wish I were making that up, folks. I am not. A second major study found that hibiscus extract reduced arterial stiffness, the stiffness that prevents vessels from flexing with each heartbeat, by 17% in older adults over just 4 weeks. Now, the preparation is critical. This is not something you can rush or approximate. Take 2 tablespoons of dried hibiscus petals and place them in a large glass jar with about 1 liter of cold filtered water. Do not use hot water. Temperatures above 158 degrees Fahrenheit destroy a significant portion of the anthocyanins, the very compounds responsible for those results. This must be a cold brew. Cover the jar and place it in your refrigerator. Let it steep for a minimum of 8 hours. 12 hours gives you the strongest concentration. In the morning, strain out the petals. What remains is a deep red liquid with a naturally tart flavor similar to cranberry. If you need to soften the taste, a small amount of raw honey works perfectly without reducing the effectiveness. Drink 3 to 4 glasses spread throughout the day, not all at once. Your blood vessels need a continuous supply of these protective compounds, a sustained presence throughout the day rather than one overwhelming dose followed by hours of nothing. You can find dried hibiscus petals at most health food stores, at international grocery stores, and online. They are genuinely affordable. A single bag will last you weeks. The consistency is what the research depends on. Daily, uninterrupted, over multiple weeks. Every study that showed the strongest results was based on regular, unbroken, daily consumption. This is not a supplement, not a prescription. It is something you can start tonight that costs almost nothing, and that published clinical research shows can begin restoring the vascular function your kidneys have been depending on for a lifetime. Now, take a breath, folks, because I know that is a lot to take in. And I know the temptation is to feel overwhelmed. So let me give you the 3 things I need you to walk away with today. Number 1, your circulation does not fail all at once. It fails gradually and silently over years. And by the time you feel it in your legs and feet, your kidneys may already be running significantly below normal function. The time to act is now, not when symptoms appear. Now. Number 2. Plain water is not enough after 60. Your aging blood vessels need specific compounds that plain water cannot deliver. Not expensive prescriptions, not complicated protocols. 5 simple, affordable additions you can make at home, tonight, for almost no cost. Number 3. Start with hibiscus cold brew. Put the jar in your refrigerator tonight. Add beetroot juice in the morning. Build from there. Give each addition 2 full weeks before adding the next. And please, talk to your doctor before making changes, especially if you are on blood pressure or blood thinning medications. Right now, type "circulation strong" in the comments. Just those 2 words. When you write something with your own hands, your brain encodes it as commitment rather than passing information. This is not a comment for an algorithm, friends. This is a promise to yourself. A promise that you will not let your kidneys quietly pay the price for poor circulation while you wait for a symptom that may never come until it is too late. Hit that like button right now. Lock in your commitment to your own health and your own independence. Subscribe to this channel. Think of it as enrolling with your personal kidney doctor. No copay, no insurance required, for life. I post every single week because there is too much that cannot fit into a 7-minute appointment. You deserve to know this. All of it. Now share this video tonight, folks. Text it to your family group chat. Post it to your Facebook wall. Send it to your church group, your walking partner, your neighbor who has been mentioning heavy legs, your golf buddy who keeps saying his hands go cold in the morning, your sister whose ankles leave marks from her shoes every single evening. There is someone in your life who is experiencing exactly what Margaret, Robert, and Walter experienced, and who does not yet know that a pitcher of hibiscus water in the refrigerator tonight could be the first step back toward the life they want to be living. You now know something they do not. Pass it on. One more thing before I go, friends. That common spice sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now, the one that millions of Americans sprinkle on their oatmeal every single morning, in my next video, I'm going to show you what it is really doing to your kidneys, and what happens when you combine it with the foods most people eat it with. You are going to want to see that, I promise you. I do not want to see you in a dialysis center. I do not want to see your family taking shifts driving you to a clinic 3 mornings a week. I want to see you at the park, walking in the sunshine, playing with your grandchildren, dancing at your granddaughter's wedding. That is what I want for every single person watching this today. Stay strong, folks. Take care of your blood vessels, and they will take care of your kidneys, and your kidneys will take care of you. I'm Dr. Wilson Tang, your lifelong kidney doctor. I'll see you in the next one.